Hey, Orthotic Chips here. This is Workshop Live. We haven't come to you guys in a long time, so happy to be back on this train. Today we got a D11 foot type. Good, solid, medium low arch, nice and even, neutral forefoot, relatively neutral rear foot with a little bit of pronation, a little bit of inward mobility, E version of that heel. When she's taking a step, nice and smooth. Heel to toe, hips are balanced, she's looking good, right? We got her in some new orthotics. She's been wearing them for probably about a week or so. We've got some complaints, so we're going to cover this. This lovely customer is coming off of a doctor-style half-length polypropylene or some sort of plastic-style orthotic. It was just the plastic, no extra cushion, nothing like that. So she had worn that for many years. She was buying shoes about a half size too big just to fit the insert on top of a standard insert. We don't like that process. It takes up too much space. It just doesn't work all that well. It was okay for her, but it wasn't great. So we got her into an orthotic, and she was wearing it for a couple of days. Now, the initial reaction was, felt good for like 2 days. And then next thing you know, her second, third, fourth toes were starting to get too much irritation on the tips. And fourth or fifth toe was kind of sliding under. Normal heavy callousing on the toe area and the metatarsals. But again, this person's walking, not too much abduction. She's walking pretty nice and evenly. Just a lot of callousing. This time of the year, it's cracking, it's dry. It happens. So we got a new orthotic. It's been a week or so. What are we going to do? In this situation, my thought process and explanation was that, you know, compared to what she was used to before, she was walking with something with a little bit too much space in the toe box, taking up too much extra space, real rigid. This style orthotic, this is one of our kind of standard constructions. We've got 4 layers, EVA, polyurethane, Solflex, and cork underneath there. Really good combo. She's going to be walking a little bit more efficiently. The idea is to hold her foot. We went down a half size and a little wider to accommodate the toes and, you know, the width. And toes are cramping up on her. Really irritation in the tips of the toes. So we got a new setup here. What we're going to do today is I'm actually going to thin out this bottom layer. We're going to take off the polyurethane Poron Sport material, 1.5 millimeters. We're going to take off the Villadon bottom cover, and we're going to replace that with a slow rebound eco cell, just in the toe box. I'm also going to add a toe crest. We have some hammering of the toes. Metatarsals aren't dropping down too much. There is a little bit of callousing in this area, but not too bad where it's saying, hey, there's a large drop of those mets. I think it's just that splaying factor that we're dealing with. Toes are knuckling up. Tips of the toes are irritated. We're going to soften that up, fill it in a little bit. So we're going to take the top down here. And when we look at placement wise, we don't want to take away too much of the toe area. So we're going to make sure we maintain that metatarsal padding with the Poron here, okay? Now, the setup that we're going to do is we're going to remove this with a Dremel drill, which is my best friend. And this is usually the best way to do it. We're going to go back. Main cam. Okay. Now, when using a Dremel, I like to cut my line and get a starting point. You gotta be really careful on when you're using a Dremel. It wants to roll a lot of the times, so you gotta make sure you're getting a good starting point. And if you go up here, it's going to roll on the other side. So you're more so drawing it versus pulling it, if that makes sense. All right, so I'll get my material kind of cut through. I'll pull with my trusty Klein needle nose pliers. And voila. We're going to get the other side too. Then we're going to take it to the grinding machine. It's a lot easier just to smooth that area out. You'll want to make sure we have a little beveled edge, 45 degrees or so. So we're going to take this down a little farther than where the line is at. Now we're going to fill it in with a 3 millimeter slow rebound EcoCell polyurethane from Acor. It's going to be a little thicker than what we're replacing it with, so we're still going to smooth it out a touch right at the top at the finishing layer. After and during, we put on the toe crest. Now, toe crests are important. Placement is really key when you're doing toe crests. Let's take you over to the grinding machine real quick. Okay.
I'll make sure I cast it the right way.
Good.
One of the things where I overdid it, and like do it in reverse when I fuck it up.
It's all good.
She broke her ankle like 11 years ago, had surgery. Not having a ton of pain. Are you on live right now?
Yeah. Hey, Scott.
Hey!
Hey. All right.
I'll get you.
Yeah. All right, so we got this cleaned up. We're gonna hit it with the Dremel just one more time, just to balance this edge out just a touch. Now, this person's had these for about a week. It's a little early in my preferred process to be making a change like this, but she was in a lot of pain with these toes. There was some pretty hard corns that she was dealing with. Hasn't had a pedicure in a while, so we gotta help her out. And I think this is gonna be a quick, easy solution. This is probably something we'd end up doing anyways for this customer. So, you know, sometimes, in most cases, you wanna be patient when it comes to this kind of stuff. But definitely easy to do. Okay, perfect. So we'll take the top down now. And we've got two things we're gonna do. One accommodation, one correction, okay? So this material, very, very soft. It's very similar to slow recovery pour-on, but it's got a little different density and rubberiness to it, which I like. It's a nice material that does a good job. So, okay, so we're gonna take this, we're gonna cut out our little template. We're gonna wanna overlap about a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and at the same time, we're going to try to get this. We're going to try to get this toe crest. Now, toe crests, most oftenly found with like Birkenstock shoes. Big fan of toe crests. They can be a little weird for people, so you always got to be cognizant of that. And you can make toe crests out of a lot of different materials. I typically side towards medium firm to firm EVA. EVA is going to compress nicely underneath the body weight of the foot. So you don't want something that's going to be too rigid or non-molding long term. You want to get something that's going to soften and compress. On the extreme side, you could use a multi-cork. I would say that would be a material that would be, it's 55 durometer. That would be a material for individuals, let's say 225, 235 and over. So material is all about what you're doing with it. Durometer is crazy important to focus on, because you put something too hard or too soft, it's either going to feel too much or not last long enough. So being confident in your material selection is very important. Now, left and right, we're about equal as far as the irritation is concerned. Okay, so we have our softening element of the toe box here. Now, we're also going to do a toe crest. And I'm going to use a 55 durometer, 3 millimeter EVA, which I should have some scraps here. Maybe not. I'm going to grab, there we go. Perfect. Okay. 55 durometer EVA. I'm using microcell puff. I usually eyeball this, right? All right, so I like to go not quite full to the fifth toe, about 1/4 of an inch. You look at most feet, and that's about the amount of space they have in between the end, the distal end of the met head, and the oh yeah, perfecto. Now I'm going to end it before the pinky toe. And you're going to want to shave this just a touch. So let's get that right there. I usually skip the big toe unless there's a need for that area. We really just have hammering in the second, third, and fourth. Fifth toe, we got the shark fin at the bottom, the classic callus pattern, where the toe is sliding underneath there. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure you're not taking up too much space over there. All right. So we got this material, and this should be good. Now we're going to get the glue on everything in a sec. We're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll come back, apply everything, make some finishing notes, get you guys rolling. What I like to do oftentimes is, because when you cut it 2 different times, one's usually going to end up bigger. I'm going to go take it to the grinder real quick. All right. We got a nice balance between left and right. Positioning. Let's get it in the right spot. Apply our glues. Get this lady feeling nice. Now, okay, follow-up questions you might be having here. We have some hammering. We have a oval-shaped met pad. Our additional options that we have, because this has been on the short side of things, it's been a week, we do have the option to really bump up this metatarsal. We can go triple to quadruple what we have on there. It's currently an 1/8 inch cushion cork. It's cork and rubber combination. Good modification material we use almost daily. And, you know, when we're trying to help support the metatarsals, again, this is a D11 foot type. She's pretty clean in her gait process, right? It's not super sloppy. There's not a ton of stuff going on. I think that there's a few factors of just some existing heavy callusing within her toes and the metatarsals, and we have a new setup. So with what we're trying to do today is just, we always try to do the least amount of work as possible, not to be lazy, but to give people the tools without overcorrecting. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We have the option to bump up the metatarsal head more if we need to, but hopefully that won't be the case. So we have a nice clean process, some new shoes, maybe a pedicure in the future. She's using Brown's Foot Bath, which I highly recommend anybody dealing with callousing. Make sure to use Brown's Foot Bath, brownsfootbath.com. It's available all over the country. Great stuff, exfoliator, I own that company too. Amazing product. I'm going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, folks. Tony Chips here, Workshop Live, D11 foot type, hammer toes, new orthotics, unhappy. We're cleaning things up a bit, making it nice and nice. We're gonna take your top down again and apply our changes. So we're cleaning up the toe area, removing standard sport pour-on, 1.5 millimeters, replacing it with a slow rebound EcoCell from Acor. Soft material. Keeping it the same thickness. We're gonna have to do a little grading on that. And then we're adding what I think is gonna be the main help is the toe crest here. So we got a nice setup, a little heat to activate, and let's get her going. All right. I'm gonna apply toe crest first, and then we're going to work from there back and forward with now when I grind this, I'm going to have to be careful. I'm going to try to slim it out real nice. I got to keep the toe crest happy. Alright, perfecto. Okay. So when I add this toe area, the padding, it's technically thicker than what the other material was. I'm not going to finish it with a Villadon. I could, but EcoCell is an open cell polyurethane. It does a fine job of being a bottom layer. This toe space, it's not going to get too soft or curl up on her or anything like that. So, all right, perfect. So placement-wise, I like it. We're looking good here. Take you to the grinder. I'm gonna hit it with a mallet real quick. Okay. All right, folks, here we have it. Toe and Chips here, Workshop Live, D11 foot type, hammer toes, callousing. She's using Brown's foot bath, done it once. We're gonna recommend heavy callousing, 3 doses of Brown's foot bath, 3 days in a row, 15 to 20 minutes, hot water, soak your feet, 2 tablespoons, boom, it's gonna work out. On the orthotic side of things, new orthotics, only a week old, a little short notice, but we're gonna clean it up. Softening the toe up, we have that thinned out really nicely with Slow Rebound EcoCell from Acor. We have a toe crest, which I think is going to be the main improvement on this. And we started with a Met pad. This is where we're going to work on next if we need to bump that up 2 to 3 times that amount. So thank you for tuning in. It's been a lovely chat with you guys. Enjoy the week. Have a great day. Ciao.